Hey, welcome to this month's Infield Breakdown. This month, instead of just choosing one particular set and running you through it, I decided to take a whole night and do that. So basically, I just took a random night, went out. It's a pretty typical night for me. In fact, if anything, I was a bit rusty. This is just after I had launched Valentine University and been through all that, so I hadn't really been going out that much. But in any case, I went out and I did 3 sets, and all 3 of them ended up being venue changes, although the first 2 didn't end up being pulls, which I'll explain. So basically, the first 2, I picked up the girl and then she went on like an instant date with me, or in one case, she and her friend went on an instant date with me. And then in the third case, it was an actual pull where we got them home. And in this case, I actually enlisted my cameraman to help me out because there were 2 girls. So he came in and joined in as my wingman. In any case, I'm going to break down each of the 3 sets, specifically how I do the venue changes, what I'm thinking along the way throughout the instant dates, that sort of a thing. So you see sort of my mindset as I go through a night, both in terms of the individual interactions, but also in terms of thinking about the night holistically. So without any more said, let's crack into it. Excuse me. Sorry, I loved your look. I had to say hi.
My gym outfit?
Huh, what?
Was that my gym outfit?
Your gym outfit? No, but like the gym outfit, but the fact that it's like gym chic. I mean, you could have some like sloppy ass Rocky sweatpants, like drapey shirt. You know, there's a right and a wrong way to do every outfit.
I agree.
But thank you for, laughing at my compliment. It's very sweet of you. So notice how I passed the little shit test. Notice how I just keep it all good humored and I just kind of keep my mouth running and make it not a huge deal. Right? It's not that difficult, but it is a situation where a lot of people mess up. What is your name?
I'm
Todd. Where, I assume you're headed home then if you were just from the gym, or? Okay. Fair enough. I assume you live near here then, yeah? Okay. How do you feel about drinks with cute boys while you're still in gym clothes?
Where are you going?
I mean, I'm sure we can find something. I actually just moved into the area and I've only been to like 2 bars, so anything new I'm open to as far as that goes.
We can get a drink across the street.
Yeah? Okay, let's do it. I like your,
It's a safe place to go.
the safe place. All right, fair enough. I thought we'd like make a
They see me
scene.
in all forms here.
All right, fair enough. I kind of wanted to walk in and then be like, who are those like really hot people and what's she doing with that? Like, that's gonna be the new trend. Next month in Vogue, you'd be like J-Lo wearing sweatpants.
My fashion
Oh, is
icon.
this you? All right, fair enough. Oh, man. Sure, yeah. Corner? So now this is interesting. It's both good and bad. It's good in the sense, obviously, it's instant date very quickly. Now getting to know the girl, getting more intimate, that sort of thing. The thing that's potentially bad about it is that she's sort of leading, but she's leading in a very good way. She's leading in a positive way, positive fray. Things are going in a direction that by all means could lead towards sex. I don't love the fact that it's her choosing the place in a place that she's like kind of comfortable, familiar with, that sort of thing. But I don't mind it. My philosophy is not to overlead. So in general, as a man, you do need to lead, you need to take charge, you need to handle logistics. But that said, if the girl is overtly flirting with you, if the girl's overtly helping things happen, if the girl seems to have positive intentions for things, i.e., it looks like it could be going in a sexual direction, then I'm a big fan of take your hands off, let the girl lead, and you can always alter the course as necessary when the situation arises. But as of right now, this looks like a pretty good set. And key thing to remember also, why did I get her on an instant date so quickly? Because I asked. So many guys will just sit there on the street corner talking and talking and talking, not actually asking for anything, and then nothing happens, interestingly enough. But if you ask, good things can happen. Sincere question. If you were me, if you were Todd, would you be like, oh my God, I met the most amazing girl, she's so cool? Or would you be like, oh my God, I have to get out of this fucking crazy insanity before this girl like me? You're not. You're It depends on your definition, actually.
Nice.
If by crazy you mean like all over the place, you are. If by crazy you mean actually insane, I think you're not.
Yeah. That's good. It's good to have life. Most people don't have life.
Here's my number 1 criteria, and here's why I'm actually like still hanging out with you.
Yeah.
For sure. My number 1 criteria is please don't bore me, which you certainly don't.
Being bored is the worst thing to do. I'm bored, this is the end of the world. Because I'm gonna do the fucking craziest fucked up shit.
If I bore you or if you bore me,
I'll walk
promise
out
me
the door.
you leave and I'll leave.
Oh, yeah, I would have
Okay,
left.
okay.
Wait, oh look, my cousin's calling me. I don't know where my phone is, but he's calling me. I can feel it.
I can't find the phone, but it must be
Feel it.
ringing somewhere.
It's ringing. I can feel it in my bones.
Okay, so here you see a great example of number one, qualifying, right? Me establishing the fact that I'm a man of standards, establishing the fact that she needs to live up to certain things to be with me, and also framing. I'm framing the interaction not as this like serious resume communication where we're like dotting all the I's and crossing the T's, but instead as this fun, lighthearted, don't bore me, let's just enjoy our time together, that sort of thing. That's super critical for setting up, particularly if you're gonna have a one-night stand, but just for the vibe that you wanna have with girls in general. You want it to be lighthearted and fun and not a big deal, all right? You don't want a lot of pressure, you don't want it super logical. So notice how I'm setting the frame and setting the vibe. That's super, super critical.
I think it's delicious. It's my favorite thing to drink, but
I love
I'm not
Other people don't like it?
I don't know if I hate it.
Bartender's
To be determined.
choice.
God bless you. Good luck. Thank you.
I can understand. I can understand
weird,
both
right?
sides. Yeah, it's very particular.
Love it. All right, let's rock and roll.
Shall we? So it turned out that as good as that particular instant date is and as good as everything was, the girl actually had legitimate work commitments. And to be fair, she couldn't even go anywhere without going and picking up her keys. So she had a serious logistical impediment. And then when she got to work, she had a bunch of stuff came up work-wise and she was kind of stuck doing that. However, she ended up introducing me to a really cool guy who was very hooked up and a couple of models. So it ended up being really, really good and actually probably worth more than any individual set would have been anyway in terms of getting social connections, getting access to places, that sort of thing. So it actually turned out really, really good. But it turned into a situation where it didn't make sense for me to stay super long. So we just ended up exchanging numbers and then I went along through my night. And then the next, basically within, 2 minutes or something, I ended up running into this group of two girls, and here's the open.
Awkward place for like,
Sorry. I feel like starting the most romantic sexual business negotiation with you guys right now. Just based on your vibe, I feel like
okay, what
I feel like
your,
you need to be a lawyer and hammer some shit out with you guys.
What's your proposal?
My proposal? Fuck, I don't know you yet. I mean, my proposal would be we all hang out and have a good time, but I don't even know you guys.
Where are you going?
I don't know if I want to hang out with you. Okay, so notice the opener. It wasn't the smoothest, coolest thing, but what did I do? I just kept talking, I rambled, and then I was willing to even be a little offensive. She's like, what's your plan? I'm like, fuck, I don't even know you guys yet, right? I was willing to put something out there. I was willing to say something that could be potentially offensive, that could make me loved or hated very, very early on in the interaction. And what happened, it provoked intrigue, it got her chasing, what are you doing now? And now I'm kind of in the driver's seat. Things are looking really, really good, okay? But the key lesson here is your opener doesn't have to be that good, number one. You just have to keep talking. And the second thing is be willing to be offensive. You can always say, I'm sorry, but it's much better to make an impression than not.
You don't know how. Okay.
Come here. Hey, no, I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean, I have the utmost of positive expectations with you, but I'm only knowing you for 10 seconds. Is that fair?
That's right.
That's
okay.
fair?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Todd. Let's start there. You
Hi,
are?
Todd. Nice
Pleasure.
meeting you.
Pleasure. Here, we'll be all 17th century romantic, and you
I'm
are?
Heather.
Heather, pleasure. Where are you guys headed right now?
We're just gonna go downstairs here.
Really?
Yeah.
I
They have like a band playing or something.
I feel like I haven't been in there. I've been in this other place downstairs, but whatever. I'm gonna be honest with you. You're not gonna meet anyone as cute or charismatic or interesting as me down there, but I'll go with you if you'd like. What?
Is that your best? Is that your best? Try again. I like your haircut, by the way. It's very
Thank you.
Viking.
Very Viking. Okay, notice how I passed that shit test. Right? Is that your best? I just looked at her seriously? Really? And she couldn't take the social pressure, so she cracked and gave me a compliment. Right? You don't always have to have a clever response for every shit test. What you have to do is have the attitude that you're above it. Right? You have to have the attitude you don't give a fuck. You have the attitude I don't even have to respond. Or the attitude, you know what, let's just be normal. Whatever it is, you just can't be emotionally affected. So in this case, my answer was just to stare at her. I was like, and then she cracked and gave me a compliment because she was testing me. Why? Because she was attracted. And then when I looked at her like she was an idiot, she realized how dumb her shit test was and she tried to recover by being nice and complimenting, right? Great way to pass a shit test. And when we talk about how there are 3 ways to pass, ignore, misinterpret, and agree and exaggerate, that's an example of ignore, which is usually your best go-to if you can pull it off.
I like it.
If I had like little horns out the side, I would believe you. How do you guys know each other? Work? Okay. All right. I'm like trying to divine what kind of work you do. There's a part of me that wants to say something like fashion-y and something that's going to say finance-y. I can't decide if you're serious or like playful.
You're both right.
Really? All right, fuck it, I'll go with you. For the moment. And again, we're in this situation where I'm sort of being led. I already kind of suggested going somewhere with them and hanging out, and then they invited me to their specific hangout place. So in a sense, I led, in a sense, they led. But again, they're leading towards something better than where we were. We've moved this from the street randomly in front of, it was like a crane or a bulldozer or whatever the fuck it was, to now we are inside a club, having a good time, having drinks, getting to know each other. And it feels like we're all hanging out rather than feeling like a pickup. So it's a positive escalation. So even though I'm not 100% leading, I'm very happy with the progression at this time. Now, the one downside right now is that we're going to a place that's very, very loud. I didn't know this going in. So it's actually difficult to communicate, and that's going to play out in a little bit over time. Do you trust this girl?
What's that?
Do you trust her?
Yes.
Are you sure? You
Yeah.
have like a little bit of like hesitation.
My hesitation is that we had truffle pizza, so my breath really smells. Oh, sorry about that.
Between all of us right now, no judgment, only fun.
Don't take this the wrong way, but like you're like really random.
I'm fully
up
okay.
on the street.
That's what happens when you're attractive, you know, it happens. Random girls pick you up on the street, don't know if you can trust them.
Don't get this wrong. He didn't pick you up.
No. And that's an example of the other way to pass a shit test, which is misinterpret, right? I treated it as though it was random, as in like she picked me up and, you know, whatever, I'm used to it, I get picked up all the time, that sort of a thing. And then she's caught backtracking and she has to justify and qualify herself. Also notice the other girl qualifying herself. So far these girls like me a lot. What's going to end up happening with this set as it plays out is that it is, one, a very loud place, and 2, there are 2 of them and 1 of me. It's very hard to talk to both of them at once because it's loud. And so because I can't get a wingman for the other girl because it's loud, but it's also kind of empty, so eventually I just get to the point where I'm like, this is way more work than it's really worth, because I'm trying to like keep 2 girls engaged the whole time. They're watching like some, like there's like a live music show, so there's no like clear like end point to that evening. And it's very hard for me to sell anything to the other girl. The one girl likes me a lot, but the other girl is like, she's gonna sit there bored, like, it doesn't make sense for her night. So I looked at the situation overall and I evaluated, maybe there's a chance I could pull them. If I stayed with them all night, if I really tried, maybe I could. But A, they're not like the absolute most attractive. B, the logistics is gonna take a while. And C, it doesn't look particularly easy. I don't see a simple solution in sight. So what I'm gonna end up doing is just settling for taking the girl's number and bouncing and continuing the night. And this is a calculated choice. It's not to say that, again, if I were to stay that I couldn't pull, I might very well be able to. But I look at the odds of pulling and the quality that's there versus what I think will happen if I go leave and continue with the night. And my honest assessment is that if I continue with the night, I'll find someone better, hotter, better logistics, that sort of thing. So I decide to just take a number and screen from there. And this is a very important decision you can make throughout a night, because even if you have really good game, there are certain girls that will just be logistically not very available, or you know, the situation's bad with the friends, or they just are the type of girl that a one-night stand doesn't make sense at that point in their life very much for whatever reason. And if that's the case, then by all means get contact information, by all means follow up. It'd be silly not to. But if you spend your whole night with that one girl, especially if it's like, you know, you just approach the first girl and you just like stay in there because you're there, that's silly. You should always be evaluating, am I better off here or am I better off leaving? And that's not a cowardly sort of judgment of like, let me leave while I'm on a good note and make myself feel good. It's not a cowardly judgment in terms of let me stay so I don't have to open another set, but it's a logical, honest self-assessment and assessment of the night. Are my odds better here or odds better somewhere else? And in this case, I'm going to determine very quickly that my odds are better somewhere else. So even though I've already been venue changed, even though these girls already bought me a drink downstairs, which is great, all that kind of stuff, I determine my odds are better elsewhere.
Okay, so if you were a stray puppy, what kind of puppy
puppy would you be?
Good question. Good question.
What type of puppy has a very high IQ and incredible like cuteness manipulation characteristics?
Overthinking it. Just say a fucking puppy that's cute.
I don't know. I'm a cat person. I don't know brands of dogs.
Oh my god. Oh.
I don't know brands of dogs.
Hold on. Do you watch like cat YouTube videos all day?
I make YouTube videos all day. So what's my business? And again, notice how I'm passing a lot of shit tests through ignoring, right? Ignoring, changing the subject, not dealing with them directly. So I'm never in a situation where I'm like confronting the test head on and like in order for them to win, I have to lose. In order for me to win, they have to lose. I'm creating win-win solutions. That's very, very critical in terms of keeping a good vibe while passing shit tests. That hand kiss is my philosophy on life. As in like romantic possibilities, but less safe there. Fair?
Yes.
Okay. I will take your number.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'm gonna give it one time. Remember?
I'm gonna write it down. Is that
646.
okay? So as I said before, I just took the number because I didn't think it was worth it overall within the scope of the night. I maybe could have stayed. It was going well enough. The girl clearly liked me. But when I weighed all the different factors, including logistics, her friend, the venue, her hotness, the time of the night, that kind of stuff, I determined that I had better chances going out and kind of rejoining the night and opening more sets than I did staying in that particular interaction. So I just took her number and left. What happened at this point was my cameraman, the camera was out of batteries because he didn't expect me to go quite as long as I did for this particular session. So he ran back to go grab another battery. Meanwhile, I ran up to check out a particular venue. At this venue, I happened to meet a couple girls, and they were like tourists just in town for a little bit, and they kind of wanted to see the city. So I kind of sold them on the idea of like bouncing around to another bar. So where we're going to pick this up is where I've already taken them from that venue and taken them downstairs, taken them to another bar, and then I meet back up with my cameraman. I text him to come there, so he comes and joins me. So now we're at this bar. We're sitting with the two girls. He's winging me. You're going to hear him giving input as well during the course of the interaction. So this is already venue change. This is already instant date again, my third instant date of the night. And now I have a wingman, so now the logistics look a lot better. So now instead of just one girl, one guy, two girls, one guy, it's two girls, two guys. And now it makes a lot more sense. We're also very close to a place that I can pull to, which you'll see in a bit. You steal my like kidney. Right here. You sell it. Heart. She's gonna steal my heart? Oh, okay. All right, I'll keep that in mind. Good to know.
You say America, we say USA.
Oh, wij zeggen Amerika, hun zeggen
You do something a little crazy? Sneak out with these glasses and go upstairs next door?
I'm down.
Yeah? All right. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go upstairs. We're gonna walk out, just like, let's go. All right?
Ready?
We're gonna go next door. We're gonna go to Rooftop. Rooftop. Come. Yes, come with me. Okay, so notice a few things about the way I pulled. Number one, highly spontaneous in the moment. Number two, strong lead. There's no hesitation. There's no, would you like to maybe do something like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. Thirdly, where's the focus? The focus isn't on, oh, we're gonna do some shit together. It's on, okay, come here. What we're gonna do is like a little bit shady, so you have to be with me on this. Don't fuck it up, all right? So the focus is not on, oh my God, where are we gonna go? Oh, what's gonna happen to us? The focus is on, oh, we're doing this crazy fun thing right now. It's in the moment, it's spontaneous, and they're not thinking that far ahead. Again, notice this, the vibe I've had all night of, you know what, let's just keep it spontaneous, let's not be bored, let's do something crazy, whatever. And that's the vibe that leads again to one night stands. When I'm thinking one night stand, I'm thinking like the world is gonna explode tomorrow. So if nothing happens between me and these girls tonight, nothing will ever happen between us. That'll be it. Okay, this is our last day on earth, right? And so we may as well just fucking go big. Go big, take chances, no consequences. It's the epitome of the short-term mating strategy as opposed to the long-term mating strategy. So notice all that in this poll. And again, remember how certain I was with it. I'm leading, I'm certain. There's no question in my voice of whether they're gonna go. It's like, here's what we're gonna do, not would you like to do this with us. Very, very important distinction. Don't look at me on the shit. No, it's my friend. My friend, come. It's a party, yes, it's a party. Always a party. It's a small. Yes, it is a small. It's a small. One second. So there you see the actual walk in the door and up to the roof. And that's, obviously what you want to have happen is actually pull. Big lesson to take from this whole video. Number one, opening. You saw 3 different opens. You saw how I get in there and I ramble. Even if the open itself isn't the greatest, I just keep talking until it gets good. And I'm willing to say some offensive things. I'm not afraid of making a bad impression. I want to make a great impression. That's number one. Number 2, ask for the venue change. All 3 of these sets, again, 3 sets tonight, 3 venue changes, all 3 of them, I asked for the venue change relatively early on. The first 2, within probably like the first minute or 2. That other one took a little bit longer because I was up inside a venue, but that was probably a less than 5-minute venue change with the foreign girls that we ended up taking back. So remember to ask. If you don't ask for the venue change, it's not going to happen. And as soon as you venue change, you're no longer doing pickup. You're now the cool guy they're hanging out with, which is such a better way for them to be thinking about the interaction and such a better way for the interaction to feel. So that's absolutely critical. Finally, think about leading, right? Always leading, always certain about what you're doing. And it's okay if you start leading and the girl takes the reins and leads instead of you, as long as she's leading in the right direction. But if you don't at least start on to creating a direction, start leading it somewhere, it usually won't go somewhere. A lot of times if you start and it's been going well, the girl will take the reins and lead the rest of the way for you. Final thing I want you to take from this is strategy for the night. So I did 3 separate approaches. Both of the first 2 had some really good characteristics to them, right? The girls were venue changing me around. It was good. We got into qualification. We got to know each other well. In both cases, actually, the girls bought me drinks. So these are good things that are happening. However, you have to look at things holistically. First girl had logistical problems. She had real life commitments that she had to handle, and so she couldn't really spend that time with me. And in fact, if I were to try and hang on and spend the time with her, it'd be very, very needy. So it made a lot of sense to just take a number, bounce, do my thing. And actually, I ended up meeting a lot of really cool people because of her. So it actually ended up in some ways better than if I'd stayed with her. Next interaction was, again, logistically a problem because of the 2 girls, 1 guy factor, because of the loud venue, because there was live music, so there was a delay on things, et cetera, et cetera. So I looked at it holistically and said, is the likelihood of pulling here and the quality that I'm pulling here worth it to stay, or should I bounce? I made the determination to bounce. And then in the third case, things made a lot more sense logistically. I had my cameraman there. I couldn't get my cameraman on the second set, by the way, because he'd been kind of lingering and hanging around too long, and it would have been kind of weird to randomly find him in this random bar they took me to. I thought it would have been really sketchy, so I didn't bother doing that in that case. But in the case where I had brought them somewhere and I'd actually told them about him to begin with, so they were expecting to meet my cool friend, it made total sense. I was able to wing him in, and then once I had the logistics sorted, then we could continue and have a really good interaction. Okay, so understand that strategy component as well.